My name is John Levan. I own the Guitar Services Workshop in Chapel Hill, Tennessee. We do repairs, restoration, and we also provide repair training. Recently moved here. We just built this building. Prior to that, I was in Nashville for a very long time. We love Chapel Hill. This removes so many distractions. Craziest thing you're going to see is a bunch of deer running through. And when you're measuring things in 64ths of an inch, you need all the peace and quiet you can get. I got to learn some things from Virgil Lay up in Akron, Ohio. That guy was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I never got to study with Hideo Kamamito, but he was kind of our guru. Say right around 90, 91, moved out to California and had an incredible opportunity to study with some of the best luthiers around. I got to study at Taylor. It was probably the most impactful education I've ever had. What Bob told me was, he goes, "Look, John, anything you want to learn, ask, because I have no secrets, because you'll never do it like me. You may do it better, you may do it worse, but you'll never do it like me." And that is so true, you know, because we all have our signature, as it were. We all have to develop that signature. I was part of a Luthiers Guild, the Sacramento Valley Luthiers Guild, and I do a little bit of writing for them. And then after moving to Nashville, I started writing for gbase.com, the Gearhead Gazette, started writing for them. And then later I ended up writing a bunch of stuff for D'Addario, the survival guides. Mel Bay approached me about writing a book, so that turned into 5 books with Mel Bay, and then Premier Guitar Magazine. Andy Ellis approached me about writing a column for them, and it's called Guitar Shop 101, and it's still up and running. This is the classroom. So this is where I teach my workshops. We only take 4 students at a time. We keep the classes very small. Our entry-level class is basically, we start with a refret. Okay, so we do a complete refret from start to finish. From there, we start carving string nuts out of bone. We carve a bridge saddle out of bone, and it's all hand carved. You know, from there, then we go through the setup process, the rest of it. So if it's an electric, we'll go through and adjust the pickups on it and the action and all that good stuff, and then set the intonation last. It's pretty intense stuff. We're doing measurements in thousandths of an inch and 64ths of an inch, and so I want to make sure each student gets as much time as necessary. I use the military method of training, so we preview it, do it, and then review it. I mean, there's 5 things we're looking for. What did you do? Why did you do it? What worked? What didn't work? And what'd you do to fix it? That's the most important one, really. Taylor's been very, very supportive of us. They provided us with several guitars. I was really excited when they asked me, you know, to incorporate their training into my classes so that my students can learn all the things that they need and have an opportunity to become a warranty center or a warranty technician for Taylor. If you want to be a great guitar builder, you better first learn how to be a great repair technician. We do everything from basic setups and carving string nuts and bridge saddles to refrets, neck resets, bridge, body, and brace repair on acoustics. It's all about asking the right questions. So when a customer comes in, I basically interview them, try to figure out their playing style. Do they use a pick? Do they play fingerstyle? Do they have nails? Are they using a heavy pick, thin pick, medium pick? Do they capo a lot? Where do you capo? That's really important as well. And also understanding the style of music that they're playing, and if they're strictly a rhythm player or are they playing lead or both, that may be a slightly different setup for that person. I got a couple of customers that play acoustic, and they want their action pretty much under the fret. And then I get some of these bluegrass guys that come in, they want that action up there pretty high because they're going to dig in. You know, they don't want no low action. That way you can adjust that guitar for that player, you can set the intonation for that player, for the action of the guitar, and their playing style. This is one of my best friends, my Peterson strobe tuner. I've had this a long time, very, very accurate. Some of the other things that I rely on, my fret files. I do a lot of fret work. Also for doing neck resets, I do a lot of neck resets on dovetails. So I have a tenon shaper. This is something we manufacture. This is a brace call, and they come in different lengths and different shapes. So we've got them for like a V brace, U brace, and also the little flat end of the brace at the very end that you never could find anything to clamp that together with. We've got those as well. That way when you're gluing up your brace, because I don't like the jacks because it pushes everything apart, and to me it kind of changes the form of the top, and it puts a lot of pressure on the back. With these are really light, so you can fit this inside the sound hole, get this on top of that brace. It's not going to slide off. There's a screw that actually holds that in, that's recessed, so it won't damage the brace. And then you just put a plastic caul on top, tighten it down, good to go. This is a radial disc sander, but it's a little bit different than what you'd pick up at the local hardware store. This actually has a 12-inch radius to it. The reason why that's important is because a lot of acoustic bridges have about a 12-inch radius. At least the acoustic top has that. So what this allows you to do is to sand the bottom of that bridge to match the top a little bit closer, and then you can do your final finish sanding by hand. Now, not every acoustic is a 12-inch radius, but this gets you a lot closer. This is an old Gibson B25. This came in for a restoration. It's got a lot of cracks in the top. The bridge plate up inside is completely blown out. The bridge is in the wrong place. This thing will not play in tune. So my customer is going to have me carve a new bridge plate up inside. I have several braces to reglue, and of course top cracks. And then from there we're going to get into the frets. The rest of the body is in good shape. It's just really the top that's taken some abuse. This sat in an attic for a very long time, dried out, and this is what happens. Don't store your guitar in the attic. Oh, I push humidity. I'm like the high priest of dihydrogen monoxide. I mean, people think I'm in a water occult, okay? That's why I push the Humidipacks. I think those are brilliant because it's a two-way system. It gets too humid, it absorbs, too dry, it emits. If you notice your fret ends starting to feel a little sharp, that's your first sign. The guitar starts sounding thin, look like the top is starting to sink down. Your action starts to get a little bit low up here, but at the same time, your neck is starting to forebow too much. So your action's high here, too low here, and it buzzes everywhere and sounds like a thin tin can. Nobody wants that. You can prevent that easily by humidifying it. And just something as simple as using that D'Addario fret paper, and polishing up the frets, and then using hydrate to condition the fretboard will make that fretboard last so much longer. This is a little toy I built. When I started out with this thing, a friend of mine gave me the body. It's just basic alder. I ended up routing it and making some modifications to it. The neck itself, though, I did make. So the neck is it's a two-piece maple. When I made the fretboard, I did it at a 15-inch radius, which is pretty flat, which of course I had to modify the daylights out of my saddles. Take some material off the bottom of several of them just to make sure I maintain that 15-inch radius at the bridge. It's got some Gotoh 510s. It's got Seymour Duncan pickups in it. The way I configured this is on this 5-way switch, all the way back is just the bridge pickup. In second position, it coil taps the bridge pickup and runs it with the middle pickup, which is reverse wound, reverse polarity. That way it sounds just like a Strat. It gives you that really cool throaty Strat sound. Middle position is just like every other guitar, it's just this middle pickup. Fourth position, it coil taps the neck pickup, turns it into a single coil and combines it with the middle. But all the way forward in that fifth position, this is a full-on raging ball of anger. It is the most incredible solo tone I've ever had. The rest of it, You'll notice I didn't even drill the holes and put a back plate on it, just because I never do with my guitars, because I'm always tweaking on them anyway. But I did add this fat block, this big old brass block. That definitely helped with some sustain. You'll notice there's no neck plate. I did inserts, so it's easy to take the neck on and off. But inside this neck pocket, where the neck touches, I've got two thick pieces of bone inlaid in there. So, and I do that with all my guitars because it gives you just incredible sustain. It's like you play a chord and you literally feel it in your chest, you know, and in your hand. I used gold mother of pearl for the inlay in the headstock. And then it's a picture of Eddie from Iron Maiden. So I had to stick that on there. I have had a great relationship with D'Addario. They have been fantastic to me. You know, I got to do a little bit of beta testing, which was always exciting, and got to write some survival guides. I've been using D'Addario since I learned how to play. And, you know, I'd try other brands. I always went back to D'Addario, always. It's really a waste to put all that time and money into a guitar and then put some cheap string on it, you know? It's like, why would you do that? It's like buying a Ferrari and getting the cheapest tires available. They're very consistent. I mean, I've got a bunch of guitars with Floyd's, double locking trim systems, and with D'Addario's, once I give them a decent stretch, they stay in tune. And I can beat the daylights out of that whammy bar and it always goes back into tune, you know? They just make great strings.